2, 3, 4.
Woo,
Episode 2, guys.
Woo.
Welcome back. We done it.
Yeah,
That's it. We can
actually.
retire now.
Wasn't a one-time fluke.
Guys, welcome to AI Unscripted.
Yeah.
Yep, still is.
We're still here. Myself, Joe,
Roy here.
Efi.
and we have a special guest today, Matan. Hi, Matan. How are you?
Yeah, hi guys. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
So we're going to be discussing AI like the last time.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about from the tech side of things. That's why we have Matan here. He has a very exciting startup. I'm really interested to hear about it. And also, I think just in general, like, what a crazy week it's been for AI. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
man. AI in the stock markets.
I'll give
Let's
you,
not
been
speak
crazy.
to Roy about that.
I'll give you my opinion because I'm trading stocks and I'm also doing pre and post market trading. And for me, it started like 2 days ago when everybody went crazy. But start with your input. I mean, I'm
Well,
curious.
I remember you came to me all excited 2 days ago in the coffee shop and you're like,
Right.
wow, look at the stocks. It's up. All green bars. And then this morning when he came into the studio, sorry, this afternoon when he came to the studio, didn't look so happy.
Yeah, but
Wait,
know,
you didn't short?
No, I'm not shorting the market ever, but there are dips, and I what I call minimized position.
Oh,
But
wait. And I
Yeah.
think, Matan, actually, you said you invested a little bit in NVIDIA,
Yeah,
right?
There we go.
I just told you that like 2 days ago
Yeah.
that I'm so happy I bought Nvidia stocks like
Right.
6 years ago.
Oh, so you're the reason it crashed.
And then yesterday, like, so yeah.
But that's good. It's just a temporary dip.
But
It's
we're
okay.
holding it for the future, so
Yeah.
That's it. Long
we're
term.
not
Yeah.
worried.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
elephant in the room, let's
Yeah.
say the word. Come on, we can say the word. DeepSeek.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you that it was crazy seeing the market react because it's kind of like the barometer of what
Yeah.
the people think, I guess, in some way, or financial people think. And it's like a big scare. And then you see it's mostly over nothing. I mean, I'm
Yep.
not saying that DeepSeek is nothing. I'm saying that the scare was nothing. But now we remain with the question, so now what do we do?
But wait, $1 trillion was wiped overnight. $1
Yeah.
trillion in market cap.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's not the first
that's
time
a
it
big
happens with
reaction.
US tech industry.
It's the
It's
biggest dip.
It's the
biggest
biggest
dip,
dip.
593 billion.
But that's what
dollars
you
in
get when you touch an already like over exaggerated market.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the real estate market that you have. Like, you can't do a dip at that fast in the real estate market. It's tech, and tech is, I think it's over exaggerated,
Well,
and I think it's gonna get back.
we talk about
is.
shovels, right? And the
Yeah.
gold
Shovels
rush.
and the gold.
Yeah,
And
that's not-
NVIDIA losing all that market cap, it seems like they're the shovel, no? They're the technology, the backbone behind everything.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Matan? Like,
They are, but I think that like it is like shit.
No, no.
That's okay. That's okay.
So I think it is like overhyped, but there is a real look for the future, and like if we all of us believe that the real future is
Yeah.
gonna be AI based,
Yeah.
that like you're gonna run websites and applications just like the same amount of stuff that is running now on the web gonna be powered by AI. So it's the next electricity, and
Yeah.
like everybody says, it's never too late to get into the infrastructure and electricity
that's true.
market
Exactly.
because it's gonna be big and even bigger and bigger until the next electricity gonna come.
Yeah.
So
And I have to say, everybody's talking about that in the NVIDIA point of view, but NVIDIA is not doing only chips for LLMs. They're doing chips for robotics. They're doing chips for cars.
Vision.
And yeah, I mean, they are much bigger
But they're
than
all
the
AI.
LLMs.
They're
They're all AI, but the chips are
But there's
designed
also
different.
quantum as well, right?
Yeah.
I just wonder, what's the Chinese NVIDIA? Is there a equivalent?
No, TSN
No, that's
maybe.
Taiwan.
There's Taiwan.
That's
You're
Taiwan.
right.
There's a
SM
microchip industry.
There's an SMCI I know. There's I can check.
I don't think they have really their own NVIDIA yet.
They have a few. They put in the bet on a few. But
Yeah.
regarding what Matan said, just how it finished, because I learned from trading stocks that the market knows something always before everyone does, and he learned that there's a big, what we say in Hebrew, big balagan, big mess,
Yeah.
and then people dig a little deeper and saw the truth. So yeah, it's not exactly what I've heard. Not saying that it's true. Back me up. It's not exactly the latest models. It's not exactly can do anything that
Yeah.
we
What,
can do.
DeepSeek?
DeepSeek, yeah.
It's like a version, of course, if it proves that it can be done on like a fraction, like 100th of the cost, That's the main question that needs to be asked going
Exactly.
forward. About NVIDIA specifically, not the Gen AI or AI market at all.
Yeah.
We, as entrepreneurs or solopreneurs or for Matan, it's a blessing what happened.
Yeah.
It's a blessing because it's going to prove that the infrastructure can be lower. And if infrastructure is lower
Lower
barrier
costs.
of entry. Exactly.
I
Lower
don't know. I
costs.
think also, you know, a lot of this was, I mean, we played with DeepSeek. I played with it. The first results, I wasn't too excited by it.
Yes.
But then actually I got some
It was
pretty
good.
good results.
It's good.
But guys, I really, Matan, we're lucky to have you in the studio. Like,
Yeah.
let's be positive, right, about the future. So we got introduced through one of your VCs. You have a VC funded company. What's the name? Maybe you can tell us a
Sticklight.
little bit about it.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe introduce yourself. a
Of
bit.
course, of
Yeah.
course. So I would just say that you were lucky that you could play with DeepSeek, because when I tried, it was already down, because like
Oh, really? Yeah.
all the world basically was trying
Yeah.
to do it. So Matan, come from mainly AI background for the last 8 years. Technically speaking, playing with models from the engineering side.
Yeah.
Was in the IDF intelligence units, led a research team at HP, was in engineering teams at a few startups here in Tel Aviv, early stage ones. And for the last year and a half, building Sticklight together with my co-founder Aviv. Like we can talk hours about Sticklight, but I think that Sticklight was born from like what we've talked about, the future
Yeah.
that we see together. We were like building LLM applications 2 years ago, customer facing ones, basically being like conversational AI where people can come in, ask questions about their businesses, like who's gonna churn, what customer is gonna bring them the most money.
So like analytic kind
Yeah,
of.
and we introduced it through a conversational AI interface, which was back then powered by GPT-3 and
Right.
GPT 3.5.
Uh-huh.
At that stage, we couldn't believe what is like DeepSeek R1 and GPT-O1, but yeah.
And 0-1. Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe we're talking about it. Wow, do you remember those days?
It's that
Yeah.
fast.
Yes.
With AI, it's the best is crazy.
And the biggest thing that we felt is that it was super hard for us to analyze who's using our product. When do people get frustrated? What can we improve in this
Yeah.
conversational AI interface to help them achieve their goals better? We saw it happening like with dozens of other companies, tech ones that were building AI products. And we decided to solve this. So that's how Sticklight was
That's
born.
amazing.
Fast forward today, we raised our seed round, working with like
Nice.
first early customers, and really believing that just like you have
Yeah.
mobile applications everywhere and web pages, you're gonna have AI, personal assistant, meeting
Yeah.
notes
You know,
assistants,
that's-
coding assistants, like
that's-
everything.
That's so exciting because, you
Yeah.
know, a lot of the conversations that we have, it's like solopreneurs, the entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to Lovable and they're building an application. But then here you are, and I know your background, obviously deep into analytics and things, and you're saying, listen, there's a need and it's backed by VCs, right? Who are looking into kind of like what the trends are. And
Yeah.
they're saying big companies are going to adopt this very soon. And it always feels like maybe the big companies are not going to adopt it and it's going to be these solopreneurs. But it just really shows how the fight is on, right? The race is on. The big companies want to be there, the small companies, the Chinese, the Americans. It's like just, it's not clear who's going to win this race, right?
It's the amazing thing is the AI started like the last run started the consumer facing, but now enterprises are going into that. So when you send me Matan's email, Matan's website, I was like, I need that.
Yeah.
I mean, I need
Yeah.
that right now.
Yeah.
I have AI agents talking to customers on my payment pages and landing pages and everything, and I don't know what's going on there.
Well, it's like
I
the
actually
shovel
don't know what's going
analogy,
on there.
right?
Yeah.
You're building the shovel, like.
And I was thinking about that.
Yeah, but
how can I
remember-
go into that?
Remember, taking back to a point we had in the last discussion was we talked. Efi, you said that. Are we looking for the shovels or are we looking for the tool that builds the shovels?
Yeah, we talked about it last time. Yeah. So that's amazing. So, but thinking about what you're doing, you're basically helping to make the conversations better. The AI consumer conversation, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, definitely. like I think that any business, any product you're trying to build, you need good knowledge and understanding of
Yeah.
your users, whether it's AI or like you're just selling falafel on the street. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
you're gonna need to know when to
Yeah.
open your restaurant and how many stuff to order
How
in the
spicy
morning.
should the dishes be?
Yeah, definitely. And
everything.
get the feedback and see when people are smiling or when people are like, I don't want to wait this
Yeah.
line anymore.
It's actually optimizing your customer journey, because if we use it for sale, for example, for sales, then you want to know what happened to the customer when he dropped. You want to know what made him want to buy. You want to analyze the conversation. You have Gong that does it for calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and we already starting to use AI agents in calls.
Calling you.
Yeah. So we're doing chats, we're doing calls, but we don't know actually how to analyze it with data. You can listen, but you can't listen to 2,000 calls per day.
Well,
right?
that's interesting, right? Because AI gives us the ability to like just sort all this unstructured data out. And I
Yeah.
wonder if all these guys that are doing attribution and stuff, you know, like the traditional analytics guys, I wonder if you even need it anymore. I mean, you're just going to dump all of the
And you're
data
gonna
now
ask-
into a big LLM and say, hey, what's going on here?
Yes.
And it knows my business better because I'm
Yeah.
going to give it all of, you know, if I'm working with a third party, maybe I don't want to share everything, right? But if I have my own models, then I
And you
can
need
do
to
it.
connect with your Google Drive for the business, and it knows everything it needs
That's
to know.
it.
And you,
So, I mean, this is the traditional
Interesting.
world, but as we move into AI,
But
and the data just becomes so vast.
I had a thought based on what you said. So if we still need to do what you said and everything, so I'm asking what's changed, but I'm giving an optional answer. Maybe what's changed is the human-machine interface.
Yeah.
We do the
Indeed.
same thing. We
Yeah.
still buy things. We still need to pay employees and manage businesses and buy groceries, go to the doctor, whatever.
Yeah.
But the way we query information, like the distance between us and the info, as I said, remember last week, it's like I'm not searching Google anymore because I don't spend 5 minutes where I can get the data in 10 seconds.
So now you have OpenAI operator, right?
Wow, I saw
That's
that.
crazy.
Scared and excited.
That's amazing.
But that's
the,
completing the revolution. He's clicking for me.
Yeah.
and I
exactly.
see it.
That's the new interface, right? The new interface is saying, "Hey, chat, I want
Yeah.
to book
And
a
you
reservation,"
got
right?
tasks, right?
Sorry?
You said you got tasks. Sorry, Efi.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm using, actually, I wasn't so excited by tasks. It's like AI for reminders, basically, you know?
Well,
like when I wake up in the morning, tell me how pretty I am. It's like, it's a gimmick, you know?
Here's a thought for you. But go ahead.
I'm just saying, I came back home after the operator lunch and I told my wife, you remember all these things that I don't have time and I always forget doing?
Here.
Write it down. I'm pushing it in and that's it.
Man, your
done,
life is
yeah.
Excuse me, can you get back what you said?
Wow.
But
And
it is.
Once we talked last week, again, I'm bringing up topics that once people figure out how to use this all AI thing for themselves at the home, they'll easily get why they can do it with business and with the companies and
Yeah.
for the kids and for everything. It makes sense once you do it for
Yeah.
yourself, like something clicks and then you scale it.
But I want to kind of chill the enthusiasm for a second
Me too,
because
after you.
because I'm still I'm working with AI. I'm doing creatives with AI, marketing with AI, and I still need the dashboard in front of my eyes. I still need to see the data. I still can't talk to the AI and get everything in front of my eyes because when I look at the data, I have things popping up and say, "Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that." So when I need to ask stuff,
Yeah.
then I already he can tell me what I want to know. But what if I don't know what I don't
Well,
know?
this is the
right?
first wave, right, of adoption towards AI.
Yeah.
And I think, and I wonder, I'd be interested to get your perspective actually, but I wonder what the next wave looks like and where are people pushing it? I mean, I don't know, can you talk specifically about
Yeah.
customers or maybe you can just talk broader about how these bigger companies are looking at AI and that shift of how we interact with
What
them?
our customers are annoyed about and what annoys you about your customers.
Or what I said.
Yeah, so there is a lot of debate like around conversational AI. Are we here to stay with chats? Like it sucks. Sometimes I want to talk with human, and sometimes it doesn't understand. It doesn't have enough context. When we started Sticklight, I did like a research about you mentioned the human computer interaction. So nowadays we're like super used to a screen, a mouse with 2 clicks, and in between you have like the one that you scroll with, a keyboard. But when you look back, you're gonna see that like all this computer stuff started with like people that could only code stuff. You didn't have a UI, a GUI. And then you had a GUI, and then people thought to themselves, okay, how are we gonna control this GUI? So you had mouses with 1 click, and it wasn't like very good. It, like you lost a lot of fidelity of stuff that you wanted to achieve. And then like you had some new generations of these, how I would say, like human interaction with computers. And I think that when you talk now with customers, the easiest go-to is like build this stable interactions that we now see with Lovable and ChatGPT and Perplexity and all of this stuff. But even when you look like you compare nowadays with 2 years ago, 2 years ago you had only like a chat. But now it's more like agents. They are integrated into your workflows. Like you don't just ask a question and get an answer. Like for example, if you write code, you ask a question and it goes inside your code, changes stuff, ask if that's what you meant. If not, you can fix it and so on. So I think like the end future is like a multi channel interaction where you speak with your AI, you text with it, you record with it, it records you. Like sometimes we just sit in the room and we're like building this next feature. So we always say to ourselves, we need to build this automation that it listens to us and then it writes down and it checks like the bugs that we had and it also takes the customer feedbacks and so on. So the real thing is like finding this new interaction, and I don't think it's solved yet. I think lots of the adoption, like now the early adopters are using AI, but in order to get it to all the like into real estate and into like lots of other sectors and marketing, and you're being able to use AI without like viewing these old dashboards. We have a way to go.
But
like,
you know, it's
we
funny.
have a long
like,
way to go.
If we think about it, right, it's like that process of typing something out. For me, anyway, my mind can go all over the place. It's actually a way to structure a PRD, right, a plan, and it gives you control over it. When you say to ChatGPT, hey, I have this idea and give me a PRD, you don't necessarily read it all because we're getting lazier and lazier, right? And AI is making us lazy. I wonder if we'll ever replace just that writing something down and being in control of our own thoughts, or whether we're just going to become lazy with AI that it's just like, hey, it's good enough.
I mean, from what I'm seeing, AI is being better with predicting what you want. So it's predictive text, right? So you write the bullet points and it predicts what you want to do. So you won't need to read it after that.
You're right. And you know what? Probably this is going to be one of your challenges, I think. The way that we interact, it's not like, okay, now we have a mobile or we have the one-click mouse, right? It's people, and people are really complex. It's not a mouse where you have a single output. You have this really complex cultures, languages, sexes, all these different attributes communicating with a business, right? And you need the analytics to be in some kind of like stable form that people can understand. Like how are you going to do that?
Sometimes it's just too much data.
We never said it's going to be easy.
Famous last words.
Well, the Chinese now say it's good. It's easy.
Only 5 million.
It's gonna be needed lots of customization, I guess. Like the same way that people are working so hard for building personalized experiences. Like when somebody goes to check out and to the payment page from specific country or another one, maybe they need different personalized experiences.
I see that.
Yeah, definitely, because you know it drives revenue at the end.
No, but it's not only that. When they're chatting with a chat agent, if they're coming, we work all over the world. So if they're coming from Nigeria, they will talk to them with dialect, with maybe in their own language, and also answer them in their own currency.
Localization.
It's
of-
localization.
Localization, but culture. I
But-
like it.
Yeah, but it's
Cultural.
not localization. It's not planned localization. I didn't tell him, hey, if someone from Nigeria or France will come, talk to him
It
the
was
same
figured
way.
out.
If someone is chatting in French, it will answer in
this
French.
is the AI platform.
This is the
that you're
AI
using?
platform.
Okay,
I just gave them this structure.
Yeah.
Do this, don't do that. If someone asks a question, don't go too deep. You're not a consultant. You're not allowed to be a consultant because it's licensed. Blah blah blah. And then it kind of created like a structure, and then I went along without an analytics, but I just went into the conversation and I started building the prompt better because I saw the mistakes it did, and then I was okay, don't do that, okay, now do that, and I build the prompt better, and I still need to do it better, but I don't have the time
So
to
it's like
listen or read
thousands
the
of
conversation.
different prompts for different products, different
Yeah,
markets
I mean,
are going to be a big part of it.
and
then
it is.
based on data, right?
Yeah.
Like that you're going to obviously. Is there any I can't think of any standout companies just now that I've seen apart from DeepSeek, but that are really coming out and they're AI first and I think we're yet to see someone come out and just say, hey, we're an AI first business, kind of like how GitLab's revolutionized work from home, right? Who's going to be the company that's going to enterprise that's going to come
But I mean,
revolutionize
isn't
AI?
it like lovable? They are
No,
AI
I don't
first,
think,
no?
I don't think so yet. I mean, they
Could
can
be.
be.
No,
It
but I
could
mean,
be.
you go into their website, you have
Yeah.
a text prompt
Yeah.
box, right?
Yeah.
You write something, and it starts writing the code for
Well,
you.
I guess you have AI providers, right? I just wonder, if you have management systems, one of the promises of blockchain that they spoke about was contracts, right? And being able to make decisions that are visible, and you had a hierarchy and a democracy, utopian, decentralized workplace, right? I wonder if you have governments, you have companies where it's controlled by AI. It's like, okay, you know what? Our CFO is our first AI employee is going to be our CFO, and he's going to do all of the. I wonder. I mean, it's going to get there, right?
It's gonna get there once when you're in the agentic phase, right? You build the agents, but what happens when the AI will start building agents on its own? It will see an issue, a problem, and it will fix it by building an agent on its own. And then you won't have a government because it will be, I think, a different structure, but you'll have systems managed and created by AI.
I mean, you're speaking with big companies, right? Do you see any of them are very creative in how they're looking at AI, or do you still think there's a bit of trepidation and market caps being affected by which platform? I think there's so much uncertainty for these big companies still.
So I would answer you differently a year ago, but today, most of the conversations we have, companies are saying we're all into AI. Nobody is skeptic anymore. They just understand it's a matter of time, a matter of prioritization. Where do they start from? So the bigger the company is, the less techy it is. You're going to see it more in the internal tools because most of their spend and their way to optimize business is through automations and agentic experiences that eliminate the need for many HR people, many legal people, many finance people, and so on. And then you see the more tech enterprises they are. For example, if you take Salesforce, Salesforce CEO Mark said, we're all into
replacing the sales.
You know Salesforce, so say goodbye. Now it's Agentforce.
And they have the whole agent thing, right?
I want to touch on
AI,
that. Just a good friend of mine, shout out Shachar Netanel. He was up until recently was the head of solution architects for Salesforce, and he told me that Mark Benioff also shared it publicly. That in regards what you asked, it's like, okay, you and me and Efi, you and me can develop tons of sales development agents. But Salesforce in the CRM world knows your business since 2010, if you started working with them on the cloud. So
first party data.
Well,
all
listen,
they need to do is put up an interface for that data.
It's not even just Salesforce, right? Like HubSpot have chat.
Oracle, Zoho, with all their apps.
They
I mean,
also have,
they know your business to the T. So
the
it's just a
IRS
matter of learning it. This is the knowledge base. You already built the memory bank, right? So you're just releasing the AI and teaching it.
So then everything is
maybe.
data
What do you think?
at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
I think the future is in the application layer. Every company that is successful and have built their reputation by providing SaaS that is based on data, and the more data about your company they haven't possessed,
Yes.
the more they are positioned to offer these same solutions in a better way through agentic experiences. So as you said, Salesforce is a great example. They have your data. The only thing that they need to solve is how to provide this application layer in a good and better way than their competitors, which
they know
are
the
nowadays.
audience well also.
I love it, by the way. That's our first that I hear TikTok short right there. That's, you just got us 2,000 views for that right there. I love it.
No, but I mean, we're just waiting for the one person with the aha moment on how the layer will work, how the application layer will work, and it will change the way we see SaaS, right? I just heard.
I think SaaS is dead, really.
Well, it's dying.
On
it's
that,
dying.
And Matan, this is for you because you're right now actually asking people's money to pay for your software. Is this a thought that scares me? When I saw, I'll tell you a story. When I
Pause,
saw,
music
You already
fades.
sold one company. It's okay.
when I saw Operator by Chat AI, you go into the bits and bytes and you see the credits. Every 1 million word input is X amount of credits, and you see it in every AI solution. You said SaaS is dead. I agree. If there's a new model right now for credits, and these companies are smart, we can go back to, remember in the 90s, the SMS day, where you have to pay for each message, outgoing and ongoing.
Buy
So why are
bundles
we
of
going to
messages.
start, if we're going to talk to computers,
Well,
show me the
that's
the
happening
biggest
right
dashboard.
now.
That's
That's how
lovable.
it's happening.
That's Bolt. That's
I mean,
This is it.
it's everything because you pay for tokens. You pay for in OpenAI. You pay for tokens. You
That's
pay
right.
for those messages.
You pay a lot less today.
Yeah, you're gonna pay.
This is why I need this
97%.
podcast. This is why I need this podcast, because we haven't talked about it, and I was very frustrated about it.
It's a race to the bottom in
It's
to
terms
the
of
bottom.
price. So
Yeah.
you need to think about the multipliers you add to the token price every
Yeah, and
month.
it's software.
Yeah.
It's
If you want to make money in a year.
I think this whole thing about SEO, and I was reading about it the other day as well.
I was talking about it today.
Someone put, it was a VC put on LinkedIn. He's like, if anyone out there is building a solution for, building a solution for actually like building. Wow, I forgot what I was going to say.
So let me just
what
jump
was it?
in.
What was it?
What, the SEO?
Yeah,
said
SEO.
SEO.
sorry.
Building a solution for
Okay,
SEO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is it. So this is what he was saying. He done a. I'm cutting again. No, I'm not keeping it in. But basically, he said, listen, if someone is building SEM for search, then
Yes.
no one's going to go on Google anymore. So you can say goodbye to your search marketing.
Yeah.
People are using ChatGPT, but if you look at the results of ChatGPT for advertising,
It's
for
from-
advertisers, it's terrible. It's
Well,
all
but-
the bottom kind of like
Yeah,
scummy
but also
advertisers out
search
there.
at the beginning was you
So,
type
right.
something, you get XXX
So exactly,
and porn in the
that's
first.
the point. So here's a huge
Yeah.
opportunity for someone to come in and build
Yeah.
SEM, some kind of network that works across
I
all
mean,
of the different.
I was talking about that with a friend of mine about my product. I mean, I'm building a product for marketeers, right? And one of the first integrations I did was with Google Ads and Meta. Okay, so and I saw that and I talked to him and I said, this is for the next 4 years, maybe. Like after that, there's not going to be
I
Google
think
Ads and
less.
Meta.
I honestly think
They're
less.
changing themselves, right? So we don't know. We talked about it last time. We don't know what the future of marketing will be because there was no aha moment for that. But it will come.
But
It
then
will be soon.
also with companies like yourself, where people are able to interact with a computer, with a device, let's say, they interact with a device.
Yeah.
The results that it's going to get are so good that you're going to get is so good, so tailored to you that actually, do I need a sponsored link? Because I get the exact
Yeah.
bespoke product to
I
myself,
got
right?
to what I was looking for.
Then layer that with 3D printing, last mile distribution, and what
I
does that look
I wanna
like?
give like a negative point about that topic because when you talk, if there's not gonna be predictive analytics and predictive text from the reply, it kind of makes an echo box, right? Because
Echo chamber.
Echo chamber,
Yeah.
exactly, echo chamber. Because you say what you want to say, and the AI will answer you. But if you went ahead on Google and search, you would
Yeah.
have been maybe seeing something else and say, "Oh, I didn't know that."
But I'm not
right?
sure because I speak to the bot, you speak, we all speak
Yeah.
to the bot, and we're all connected somehow, right? And we're
Yeah.
all similar in some way. And ultimately, if I don't buy something, but someone else buys something similar, and their habits or some kind of micro feature of my personality is related to this person, the LLM is going to be smart enough to say, hey, Joe would be interested in this too. It's going to be like Facebook, before they properly used AI, knew that you're pregnant, right?
And with time, it's going to know you better. Like SEO, like Facebook
Yep.
did. And you mentioned it before, Matan, and I would love to hear what you think about this, is that it takes time to collect the data. But once companies today have data, all they need to do is put in this application layer, as you mentioned.
It's I think it's also about training, right? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you have critical mass, but then how do you make the training better? Like
Yeah.
tools like yourself. There's other tools where dealing with data drifts and all these kind of things, and
Data drift. I like it.
self-learning models like DeepSeek, where they're actually able, without huge infrastructure costs, are actually able to run really, really smart algorithms now
Yeah.
to learn a lot quicker. I mean,
I had a question for you from before when I read your LinkedIn profile. I was like, hey, he's been in AI for a long time. How are you using that at home?
yeah. You never use
As
AI,
much as
right?
you should, yeah.
I'm still like, you talked about SEO for marketing and how it's gonna be integrated. So every while I'm checking that my wife, when she looks for something to buy and she asks ChatGPT,
She asked
when-
ChatGPT, yeah?
yeah, like for like reviews about shoes, about like stuff for home, definitely.
Amazing.
It doesn't work that well, but I'm
Not yet.
concerned.
Yeah.
I'm concerned when it's gonna work well.
That's why I'm divorced.
Ka-ching.
How the credit card gonna look like? At home, I'm mainly using it for automations, I would say. Like I'm lazy. I don't like doing the same things all over again. So if that meant
club.
like a few years ago to buy an iRobot, they're gonna clean your house.
Yeah.
So today it's more
That's how
like
it started, the revolution, by the way. iRobots.
definitely. So nowadays it's more about work, automations, meeting notes, assistants. I don't remember how to write code anymore because I'm just using Lovable and stuff like that.
Ah, you are? Yeah?
Yeah,
But it would be
definitely.
lovable. Today, I wanted to destroy my computer. It erased
Oh,
my
man.
entire web app.
I do,
It took me an hour and a half to get it back with Lovable.
I done a Twitch stream today, building on top of Lovable. It's like, okay, guys, what we're going to do today, we're going to build a generator that creates ideas of things that we can buy for future, like build for future episodes.
Yeah.
And of course, the minute I start doing authentication, and it's the first thing I do, connect to Supabase,
Yeah.
crashes. And
Wow.
I'm
Yeah,
there like
it-
20 people
had
just
issues
like
today.
teach us.
It
was
had issues
really
today.
bad today.
But that's a garden for like solopreneurs, people that
Yeah.
love building.
It's amazing.
Like
So that's
Yeah.
cool that you're using it because you
Yeah.
program, right? It's like,
yeah, but think about the time reduction it gives
Time-
you,
It's crazy.
and more than that, like even if you want to build a very simple website, like a few years ago you needed a designer because you wanna that it looks
Yeah.
pretty. You needed a programmer, like engineer. You needed someone that's gonna make it like sustainable and like
Secured.
content,
Yeah.
putting in more content, make it secure, make it like when you have lots of traffic, hopefully
scalable.
so scalable as well. And for me, at least, the biggest benefit from Lovable is for design because I'm a terrible designer, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
a typical
Yeah.
programmer, right?
Yeah, I know.
I have a hard time as well working with designers.
Yeah, everyone does. It's
I
not
hear a
just
lot of
programmers.
designers. I hear a lot of designers trying to justify their position.
I appreciate them, but it's hard.
I can tell you
and
still
then-
have a design department, right?
Not
Very
yet,
political.
but some of our customers gonna probably say it wasn't a good choice to not bring a designer yet. But these are like enablers that you
Yeah.
get today if you're adopting these tools.
When did you start the company and when did you raise money?
So we started the company around like October 23,
Okay.
just at the beginning of the war. Had a few months of service, and then we raised the money on November
And
24.
I mean,
Yeah.
you obviously spoke with a lot of VCs because that's just the way it is. What was the reaction? Like, were people very pro AI? Because I remember speaking to, I think it was Pitango, and I was part of a startup and we were building an alternative to GitHub. We wanted to actually replace Git because it doesn't meet like today's way of working, which is collaborative and all the rest of it. And, you know, online, like Google Docs and things like this. And they're like, listen, we believe the future's AI programming. And the startup was with two Google guys that I was in. They're like, nah, it's never going to happen. Listen. And actually, you know, they had a point. And this was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I wonder what was the reaction to AI companies like a year ago, a year and a bit ago?
So 2023, I think it's a great question, by the way. 2023 was like full of mess. Like imagine that when you talk with VCs, and not only VCs, also like companies, people couldn't even know yet if they're gonna be like a monopoly of everybody's gonna use OpenAI, or people gonna build models like by themselves within the companies. What tools gonna be needed? Well, like when you want an AI model to know your data, will it be like training the model on your data, or it's gonna be just bringing in the context that is needed, which is not like training by yourself, pouring lots of GPUs. And also about DeepSeek, the big stock thing that happened was mainly because the cost cut, right? But when you look like a year or two ago, you had like every time that Llama 2 was was published, and then Llama 3.
All the benchmarks go crazy.
Yeah, definitely. And each time like people were wondering where are we going? So I think that in these eras you're gonna see that you have VCs that leverage this situation, and VCs that gonna run away. And we felt it like
and what was the split of the ones that were running away and the ones that were like kind of like, we know it's AI is the future?
That's a good question. I think in Israel you had more that ran away than the States, mainly because we talked about the application layer. Most of the application layer, like B2C companies are not in Israel. We are very good at B2B. And when you're selling B2B, you need more, you're not like working on trends. You want a good validation that you have X customers, X champions that gonna want this and gonna pay for this, and you're gonna need to
them
know
along the way,
how much it's worth them, and like what is the ROI, and so on and so on. And when the market is in a mess, it's very hard to bring these things because it's more about how you see the market rather than you have real proof and validation to what's going to happen in like 6 months or so.
So I wonder what the state of the Israeli VC scene is going to look like then. If they're specifically looking for that category, so SaaS, B2B, probably a lot of cyber stuff as well. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities with cyber, obviously with AI, because it's so powerful, right? And governments need to be there and they need to be taking care of it. But all those other layers, like, you know, authentication as a service, or, you know, Docker type, scalable, like, you know, all the kind of like DevOps tools, I wonder, do they disappear now because you're going to have smart agents that do that manual thing of creating new Dockers, and do you need Backstage anymore?
Just scale it.
You don't need DevOps stuff. So where do they invest then? Because you're right, typically Israel invests in B2B kind of businesses, right?
So I think you saw lots of companies that said like, we're doing a logs and observability solution for AI applications. So if you have like companies like Datadog or Coralogics or New Relic, and then you had like small startups doing observability for AI. Some even gonna say that what we're doing is kind of, you had product analytics tools like Mixed Panel Amplitude, and now what Sticklight is doing is analytics for AI applications, because the scene has changed, the needs are changing, the way that people are gonna use the tool and the technologies they're gonna use it upon are changing.
Definitely a shovel.
Yeah.
For now.
And also databases, right? You had lots of relational databases.
Yeah.
And now you have like tons of vector DB companies, because that's the databases that are used to power AI applications. And the list is very long. So I think it's mainly companies like that. If you look on the infra layer, and the application layer is we can do finance better with AI. We can do better recruiting and HR with AI.
Yeah.
So like people that are solving an existing real need and pain of customers using AI. The question is, I think, like you mentioned, SaaS is dead, right? So how hard it's going to be to build what they're building in a few years.
Yeah, and what is that timeline, right? Like where an agent can just do it like, hey, you know, because theoretically with ChatGPT, you can tell it now, right? Just go through my emails. It's all the candidates for a specific job and give me a rank of who the top ones are. And that's without a HR platform or AI solution, right? You're just using generic agents to do very specific tasks at that.
But today HR platforms evolve to be more than that, because they know you have the ability to do that. So you have global HR management, and they take care of relocations and visas and everything.
But that's because, you know, these are very specific skills, and it's not worth paying to have your HR person that knows how to actually do visas or how to tax someone in a specific when you have an agent that's running your HR and finance, it doesn't matter anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's
if
like,
you're a local company, it's probably not going to help you. But if you run a global company, it's not that easy to connect the different way of work between different countries or in one company. You need something to mitigate today.
Yeah.
You need something to mitigate that, right? So you have those big platforms. So they are going to use AI to create better softwares for other companies. I don't think companies themselves will do that.
There is a tipping point though, right? Where it's like, okay, you have all these, like, I don't want to say single point solutions, because I know they're not. Like, you have very broad, like HiBob and some really cool companies doing stuff around HR, and they're covering the whole thing. But I'm just saying, at one point, you have the CFO, you have the head of HR, and is that it? So like Salesforce is your CRM system. Let's say now it becomes your sales team and your customer service
Finds your
team.
deals and everything.
So it's more about the future of workplace.
So that's it. So you have, okay, who does your sales? Is it HubSpot or is it Salesforce?
Exactly.
Who does your HR? That is probably
That's the
going in
idea.
that
The idea
direction.
is not how you're going to handle HR in the future, is who is going to be your employees, people or agents.
And will these solutions be using their own LLMs? Of course not, right? They're not going to spend billions of dollars. Let's say DeepSeek, let's say they spent 10 million, right? They say it was 6 million. It doesn't cover all the salaries and all the rest of it to build the model that they've done now. Probably incrementally it's going to get cheaper, processing and all the rest of it. But still, would you do an outlay of like $4 million to build out your own bespoke system? Or are you just going to use one of the DeepSeek systems, plug into their LLM?
The same way,
because just now you plug into an LLM, right?
But we already do that today with SaaS, right? You have big companies that developing in-house their own CRM solutions because they can do that. It's cheaper for them.
They're white labeling, but I'm talking about...
No, they're not white labeling. Building their own in-house CRM. Our company does that.
With Salesforce?
No.
So I'm saying I don't think anyone's going to build a solution from the bottom up. So these guys like DeepSeek, these guys like OpenAI are going to be the pillars of everything, right?
Yeah, but you didn't understand. I'm sorry for a second. You didn't understand my answer. As we move forward to the future, it's going to be easier and cheaper to build your own neural network. Yeah. So when it will be, the tipping point will be with it will be cheaper than to work with other solutions. If it will be cheaper to build my own and not work with ChatGPT, you will do that yourself.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah,
That's
no, so I get you.
point.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of saying the same thing as well. I would just wonder, like, if it'll ever get to the point where it's like, you know, computing costs is so low, like,
it will.
you know, that
It
we
will.
could just build out these models, and it's going to be so well known and so well documented. Like DeepSeek is open source, right?
Exactly.
Like you can host it.
And
you
it will
have
get.
Alpaca, you have, and OpenAI was supposed to be open.
Just,
Like, it's
just
kind of
think that
changed,
we are
but-
already we're only 3-4 years into this business. We already have DeepSeek with open source and $5 million, right? What happens in 5 years, in 6 years?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here, you know, just listening specifically since what Matan said, and I have to say, I'm hoping the listeners can share this with me as well, but I'm concerned. I'm not concerned about the dystopian future. I'm
Yeah.
concerned because I'm putting myself in Matan's shoe when he's meeting these VCs and customers, and it's like, how do you get? How do you get through what you were doing and how you
Yeah.
can actually save money and solve problems and make the business better? I mean, yeah, Matan figured it out. It took some time. But is it going to become harder and harder until a point we say, yeah, but just connect it to the LLM and I'm good?
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
It's funny, you know, the last episode we spoke a lot about how it's going to change how we live, like day-to-day solopreneurs. And
You said
now-
universal
now-
income. That's how
Yeah.
far
Yeah.
we got.
And now we're talking about like how it's going to affect big platforms in the future. It'd be interesting to hear from people at home, actually, like if you could comment, let us
Yeah.
know what you think. Really interested to hear a broader perspective from different places and,
And
people
perceptions
at
of
different
people.
stages. But
And also write, if you want us to talk about something, then write in the comments. And I would love to hear your opinion on how the workforce is going
Yes.
to look
Yeah.
in the future.
Yes.
And what do you think? Where does the money come from?
And just before you
Yeah.
you start, so we have a mutual friend, which is how we got Matan on the show,
Okay.
which is Yaron from Maverick VC.
Uh-huh.
Great guy. I had a conversation with him in his office the other day, and I think I depressed the hell out of him. Just with SaaS is dead, nothing's, and I think he had the same kind of moment with you as well, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's like a roller coaster. You get depressed, and then the next morning you find something so insightful
Yeah.
and exciting
Yeah.
that you're happy
That's
back
right.
again.
And then DeepSeek. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So what do you
Sorry,
think
yeah.
about the future of workforce?
I think
Yeah.
the future is lean teams. You don't need so many people like you used to in order to build a business. And it doesn't matter what business it is. Like look at DeepSeek. I think that the biggest proof for what I'm saying now is that DeepSeek could build what they have done, like what OpenAI, had done like 3 and 4 years ago with like 200 people. And I wouldn't be surprised if the next big model, the next one open source, is going to be built by 50 people,
Yeah.
and then 30, and then 20.
Yeah.
And same goes about traditional businesses, whether it's SaaS or not. But it's going to take time. You're going to see companies who believe in it and companies who don't believe in it. And the income, I guess, gonna, like, I don't have yet a clear thought about how it's going to change. For the near future, I think it's going to be the same. Like people
Yeah.
going to still pay for pain they have, that they want to solve, that they can see a clear return on it. And they're going to have more alternatives. Like if beforehand they could just pay a freelance on Fiverr or bring
Yeah.
in an in-house like expert, they're going to come to one of their employees and say, okay, you want to do an internship with a
Yeah.
Lovable,
The prompt engineer.
2 weeks long to
Yeah.
learn how to do X, Y, Z. It's
Yeah.
going to be a valid solution.
Wow,
That's
you know,
something
and
I
you know-
actually think of
you know
doing
what
right
the-
now in
you
my company.
You know what that means as well? What that means? It's funny because you obviously raised money for your company, right? But I wonder if the teams are becoming so lean, and like if I was to start a company in the past, I would have needed developers, I would have needed all these. Now I can just use AI, so I don't need to pay these people. And you
Yes.
said, oh, I don't know how to design, but now you can just use Lovable.
Yeah.
So I wonder, do we need to raise $5-6
Exactly
million
what I
dollars
thought you were
anymore?
asking. Great question.
I
Great
mean,
question.
before we needed to have big R&D centers and everything.
Yeah.
So the initial money we needed to be 6 million, 7 million, and work for 5 years until you have something. It became faster. So you can do that with 2 millions, 1
Yeah.
million, and you have an MVP. But it's gonna get even leaner than that.
You know what's funny?
What?
Matan, poor guy, he has to go and raise his next round. And he has to state a position now in a podcast. Yeah, we don't need money.
I don't know.
How
No,
do you answer this?
We're talking about the future. We're not talking about
That's
right
his
now. Right now, we need money. Matan needs money.
Time is money, and we are rambling and rambling
We're
on.
gonna blacklist a few people from this episode. They're gonna need to give us money.
No, but seriously, it's the future. It's not right now. Right now, we still need money. Right now, we still need the workforce.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do some things without 10 developers, but you still need 5. You don't need designers at the beginning, but as you go along the way, you still need a designer. You still need something
Yeah,
good
definitely.
because Lovable is not. It's good for the beginning. It's not good.
And by the way, you still
yeah.
need sales, right? Like
You
you're
still
building
need
your
sales
platform now, you
and
still have to
traffic.
do outreach.
And
And you
So
can do
whoever
marketing with
listening-
AI. So yeah,
Whoever-
it's still not there.
Whoever is listening here, per Efi request, start today. You want
Yeah.
to become a
Yeah.
solo entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Now is
Definitely.
the time.
You know,
to
it's
start.
always that saying, it's like, when is the best time to start?
Yes,
And
yeah.
it's 2 years
Yes,
ago.
2 years
But
ago.
actually,
Yeah.
it's not 2 years ago. It's actually
It's
today.
Now, start now. Yeah.
Start now, absolutely.
And I would add that, like, if you're gonna need quality in what you're building, you can't account on
Yes,
AI
agreed.
yet.
Not yet.
Because
Agreed.
I always like to give the Google example. I would never think that an AI could get to this simple experience and the genius one of Google, that it has like 2 clicks. You just write and search. Oh, I'm lucky, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
There we are today.
yeah,
Well, guys,
Alright.
I think
Yeah,
let's
it's been
maybe
fun.
just summarize like what we kind of got from the podcast. Roy, let's start
Yeah,
with
sure.
you.
So we started with DeepSeek, but then Efi touched on the future of workforce, and with Matan here also working with people who hire and gonna hire himself. I'm guessing that as we go along, as our business operators, we need to make it clear to the people we work with how we are going to do this with the tools at hand. Like, be clear and open about it. We don't need as much. We might need later once we need quality if we're going to scale it up. But include that workforce, AI workforce mentality into
Yeah.
what we're building.
Nice, Efi.
So for me, it's actually related to Matan's business because when you sent me the website, and I was like, I need that, and then it made me think. Once I'll start improving the quality of the AI chats and calls, right, with the analytics and everything, it's gonna get so good that it's gonna change everything. Right now, I'm working in a company that's doing B2C. We're talking with 3,000-4,000 leads per day. We're talking, we're selling a lot of onlines with call centers, and we're already thinking about the next step. And the next step with the analytics software, with everything, it's going to be mind blowing.
Yeah.
So I'm just now, this awoken me to this whole analytics for the chat, and yesterday,
You have
and I
work
was like,
to do.
and I was like, yeah, I mean, no, it was super exciting. Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking about telling you maybe I could be a design partner, but
Pay up?
we would love to.
yeah, but and I'll be a good design partner. But it actually made me so excited about the near future, not the far future.
Yeah.
The near future. So that's what I'm
Amazing.
taking from here, the excitement.
Matan, and give yourself a plug. You're so humble, but you have
Yeah.
a really amazing platform.
Yes,
like
exactly.
I think talking about the future together with the nowadays, like every few months you talk about it, the whole perspective, like it doesn't change because you're trying to think about the future and like giving the right predictions. But self-reflecting and talking about what we had 2 years ago, a year ago, half a year ago, what happens now with DeepSeek, and what's gonna happen with a year, and like even imagine Salesforce in a year.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
a super interesting
Yeah.
questions that
Yeah.
I had a pleasure to discuss with
Yeah.
you guys.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Joe,
Well, thank you very much, Matan, for joining us. I think you've really opened my eyes to, I've had this thing where like the solopreneur and really seen it as kind of like this revolution for them, but to see that it's touching the VC world
Yeah.
and this instability, because you're right, as you look at the last 2 years and where we are, and even if we look at the last 2 weeks, I mean, I would have said NVIDIA OpenAI are the guys that have won this race, and that's it now with Sora and all the different things that open.
Yeah.
And then look what happened, you know. So, you know, it's just another layer of complication and uncertainty.
As I
I
said,
think.
concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's been a fun episode.
Yes,
Thank you very
so
much for
much.
coming,
So much,
Matan.
guys.
Thank
Really.
you all
And
for listening.
if you're here now, click subscribe, share, comment, you know,
And if you have ideas or topics you want to
Yeah.
discuss, for us
Yeah.
to discuss,
comment.
for sure.
We'll
Yeah.
be
course.
back again next week with another
Woohoo.
guest, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you, Matan.
Woohoo.
Click.
And we're
Amazing.